Get started. Today I was thinking about the fact that American high schools used to be in the business of preparing students for life. For a lot of them, it was preparing students for a job, especially when you're in the 50s, 60s, 70s. It was giving enough information to young people, to people who were in that teenage range, so that they could have some stability in their life. Now American high schools are preparing kids, or supposed to be preparing them for college. That is what it is. I don't think that's a good thing, but that's what they're supposed to be preparing them for. But in my opinion, that's not what's happening. Because when you're sitting in an American high school classroom, and I think this goes for really any school that isn't a religious school or isn't a very strict private school, when you're sitting in that classroom, what you're hearing over and over again is all the problems of the world, whether that's climate change, social justice, even problems that aren't political, like clean water access throughout the world. You're hearing all these problems. And because it's high school, you never get into actually figuring out how to solve them. You just keep hearing all the issues of the world, and you keep hearing how important it is that your generation solve them. I know this. I sat in those classrooms and heard that. So you sit in these classrooms and you hear this from your science teachers about climate change or social issues, your history teachers especially, your English teachers, and you get into this mindset of I want to change something, I want to fix something, I want to have a big impact. But because it's high school, because you're not in a situation where you're really being mentored, you're never given a way to do that. So you just get more and more outraged, and you get more and more professionally outraged. And what I mean by that is it becomes part of your day-to-day life. It becomes really your identity in it. So by the time you get to college, you don't have a real understanding of what you should be doing in college. And I think that's why so many kids especially struggle with math when they get to college, or even grammar. I have had so many problems with formatting, with understanding how to do MLA or AP format. And you're realizing as you're sitting there that you spent so much time in high school talking about the world's problems, and that you're really prepared to be professionally outraged about them, but you're not necessarily prepared to know how to write a really long research paper. You're not necessarily prepared to take a calculus class, but you are prepared to be completely and utterly professionally outraged about the state of the world, but you weren't prepared on how to find solutions for that. And I think that that's why we have so many young people right now running in the streets, going crazy, being really angry, because they sat in those American classrooms and they were prepared by teachers, by each other, by parents to be professionally outraged about the state of the world, but they were given no pathway to have solutions. They were given no pathway to make big change, because they were also told that everybody's a victim. So how can you be finding solutions when you're also a victim, when you have been so cut down? That's really one of the core issues in American high schools right now. And I wanted to tell you guys about that because a lot of Republicans are questioning why so many young people, aside from just what they believe, why so many young people are so angry about what's going on right now, why it's so easy for anything, especially climate change or any issue like that, to blow up, and for young people to become so angry so quick and organize so quickly. Part of that is because the Democrats are really good at organizing, but the other part is we have been prepared by American high schools to be unconditionally, professionally outraged. And that's something that I think can only be broken by having other educational options. So thank you all for tuning in, and think about whether or not you believe that American high schools are preparing kids to be, if not for college, but then to be academically or professionally successful, or if you think they're preparing them to be outraged. And that can be for politics, for neutral subjects, for really anything. It's this idea that we all must be professionally upset all the time, and that we're still going to be upset no matter what we're doing. That's what American high schools are selling kids. I don't think it's a good idea, and I think it doesn't get solved by school choice. It doesn't get solved by anything but a different educational option. Thank you, everyone. Please retweet this, share this, and thank you for joining me tonight. And go ahead and follow me if you liked what you heard. Good night, everyone.